Jynxzi is one of the most popular streamers on Twitch right now, and with him and the gang single-handedly reviving Rainbow Six Siege, I figured that today I would want to pay some tribute to that and create Jynxzi his own operator from Rainbow Six Siege. And funny enough, SSG released a brand new esports skin for the 2024 kit, and it has a lot of references to Jynxzi on it. So it kind of made me wonder, what would Jynxzi look like if he had his own operation and his own Rainbow Six operator? And so first things first, the number one thing to do is to obviously open Photoshop. I went ahead and I placed down a soldier kind of like wireframe that I found from Envato. And funny enough, it kind of already has the pose that we're looking for. So I went ahead and spent 50 plus hours cutting out this one rock picture that we can use for the background. Now, at first, this looked absolutely stupid. The whole point of putting the rocks under Jynxzi here is so that we can build around the environment and create an action-packed scene to make Jynxzi look badass. After placing the rocks down, I realized that the hand placement on the soldier just looked completely. So I went ahead and erased one of the arms on the military soldier and made sure that I had room to put another arm on. And while our wireframe was now an amputee, I had a plan in mind. I went ahead and grabbed the SWAT image and I cut out the gun with the suppressor and I shrunk it down, praying to God that it would fit perfectly, and it fit like a glove. So then once I did that, I went ahead and I completely got rid of the right arm. So I went ahead and grabbed another image of a SWAT soldier and I shrunk that down, flipped it, prayed to God that it looked good, and sure enough, that also fit like a glove too. Now from here, the wireframe and the skeleton of our character was looking really promising, so I decided to completely chop off its head. But don't worry, not for any bad reasons, it's just so we could add Junko in, which honestly looks kind of weird at first. Now from here, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at my canvas and I'm looking at a mismatched, miscolored mess. So the next step, I'm obviously going to recolor all of this and make it look like it's actually an outfit. Next, I realized the next important step is going to be adding scenery. So, I mean, without scenery, where the hell even are we, right? So I decided that I wanted Junko to be in the deepest ever, a brutal thunderstorm. So I added the storm into the background, and this kind of gave me a very fulfilled feeling to kind of start messing around with lighting. You know, it gained that confidence back. Wish I had that confidence with the rest of my design work. Now, you know in the movies where they have those posters and it's raining, but there's fire in the background? It makes no damn sense. So I decided to go with that. I put some fire in the background to make a badass light source, and I made sure to set it to linear dodge add so we can get some of that light coming through, baby. Now, I completely forgot how to do facial lighting, so bear with me, please. I feel like this is missing something, so I'm gonna go ahead and paint some shadows right here on the feet. Yeah, that just does not look right. I bet you guessed that I scrapped that too. I realized that the suit itself is not even blended in with itself. Does that even make sense? So I went ahead and I painted a little dark shadow under Jynxzi to avoid the double chin look. I'm just kidding. No, but for real though, we had to get some shading underneath that chin because the head looked like it was floating in the middle of nowhere. And with all of this distraction of lighting and all of this other BS going on in the back of the canvas, I realized that I forgot to blend the sleeves in with the body, so it looks a little bit awkward. So I went ahead and painted a little bit of the sleeve back, and to God's miracle, we have a little bit of a blending technique going on here. After some shading and getting my boy Jynxzi's face right, I decided that this piece was still missing something, and it turned out to be foreground lighting. In case you guys forgot, a couple of minutes ago I was bitching about the fact that I couldn't do foot shadows appropriately, and so what's a good solve to that? Put lighting in front of them so you don't even have to do them in the first place. It's like you're completely dodging your problems. I like to call it running away from my problems. I'm pretty good at that. And now, I kid you guys not, I spent an hour and a half trying to find some fire particles until I eventually just said, "F it, I'll paint it myself." So, failing miserably on painting them in the foreground, I decided to grab a little bit of a stock image that I could manipulate, and then I decided to paint it a little bit in the background. Now, since Jynxzi is primarily known for his console gaming and other things like that, I decided that I was going to do my best to add some Easter eggs. Easter egg number one, totally not predictable, an Xbox controller. Now, I'm literally sitting here and I'm looking at this cutout and I'm wondering, how the hell am I going to fit this Xbox controller on Jynxzi? Until I realized that on the right leg, there's this perfect position for this, but I needed a different look for the controller. So I got one that was on its side, and I decided to manipulate that little right in between the pockets. And honestly, it's barely even noticeable, but you got to appreciate the Easter egg, right? Easter egg number two was actually Jynxzi's logo. So I decided to be a big baller and put it on the suppressor. And to be completely honest, it didn't end up looking that bad, which is kind of a surprise. Now, in case you guys forgot, at the very beginning of this video, I said that I want to throw him into a giant action-packed scene to make him look badass. So let's fucking put some bullets up in here. That way, this gave the feeling that Jynxzi was actually being shot at from all angles, like from the front and from the sides, which is absolutely horrifying. Reason being is I wanted an excuse to do more lighting, and I wanted it to feel like he was really just like dodging every bullet with everything he had. Now, Jynxzi's facial expression definitely looks a little bit weird in this scene. He kind of looks constipated, so I'm gonna try to change that with Photoshop's new neural filters. Let's see how AI is doing, shall we? So after messing with the anger and the happiness setting, I think it's safe to say that AI is just not in a good spot for designers right now. I mean, what is that? He looks like he's moaning. Although I will say the eye direction did work out pretty good, so we're gonna go ahead and keep that. Now at this point, to enhance the action, I knew one of the things I had to do was I had to add smoke at the end of the gun of the barrel. No, at the end of the barrel of the gun. So I went ahead and took a smoke brush and I painted a little bit of smoke there and deleted the smoke very subtly. I decided to paint a little bit more shadows underneath Jynxzi just to kind of give it that, you know, flare. Now at this point, I am nearing completion on the poster and I realized that this looks boring as so far. So I realized one of the things that I could absolutely do is put my 3D skills to the test. And by that, I mean throw a template in Cinema 4D and change the font and the coloring. Don't at me, okay? I went ahead and rendered that out and I threw the 3D text back into Photoshop. Now, it was at this moment I had the most revolutionary idea anybody's ever had. Why not make it a whole season? I mean, think about it really. R6 operates on years and seasons every time they release a new update, so what if there was an Operation Jynxzi? So I spaced out Operation and I went ahead and added some layer style pizzazz to the 3D Jynxzi text. Way needed, trust me. Now, when deciding a color scheme for this poster, I really gravitated towards orange and yellow because fire. So I made sure that the 3D text reflected that. And then it was finally time to add the haze glows. So I added my haze glows, I added some glow to the text, and I decided to wrap up things with a bang by putting 2 different types of camera filters on the poster. One that was very kind of normal, it had like the orange tones and the yellows, and then a duotone version. Well, it's not really duotone. It kind of is duotone. It's a gradient map, okay? Cut me some slack. Which left us with this final outcome. If you guys liked the normal color correction one, let me know down below in the comments. If you liked the duotone one, leave a like. And don't lie to me because I'll know. Now, I must say, I am just now getting back into photo manipulation, and doing a poster of Jynxzi was actually a blast. I've personally gotten back into Rainbow Six Siege myself because of his content, and it's honestly just an honor to kind of mess around and create some art around it. So I want to know, which streamer or creator do you want to see next? Anyway, that's going to be it for me this week, guys. Thank you guys so much for showing support, and I will see you guys in the next video. Also, let's get Jynxzi to see this. Deal? Deal.